Just another Manic Monday. How are you? It's 5280 Sports Network. It is time for your Morning Minute. Sean Drotard, Nate Lundy with you. The news over the weekend for us locally. The Denver Nuggets make the first move approaching the trade deadline. Not only the first move for them, but really the first move that we've seen out of the NBA. The trade deadline is still over a week away. It's on Thursday the 23rd. However, the Nuggets strike first, doing a deal within the division with Portland. It sends Nurkic and this year's first rounder to Portland in exchange for Mason Plumlee, some cash, whatever that means, and the second rounder in 2018. So, Sean, overall, good deal?
I think so. For the Nuggets, you hear first rounder, and people think a little bit like you do in the NFL and go, oh my gosh, how can you give up a first rounder? But this first rounder is one of two the Nuggets have. They have their own and one that belongs to the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies have the 9th best record in the league overall, so this is a pick that's going to be in the 20s. The Nuggets have 6 players on their roster that are 22 or younger as it stands. More youth is not what they need. So they can get someone with a little more experience, not that Mason Plumlee is an old graybeard at 26, but they get a little more experience, a guy that can match up better and get on the floor with Jokic, because that's something they couldn't do with Nurkic. The speed difference, the athleticism, the way they play, the style didn't mesh. So this is the progression of what we were hoping for the Nuggets this season. They'd start identifying what kind of players they had, what kind of assets they had, and then consolidating that into something that's workable as a team. As Michael Malone's rotations start to solidify, Plumlee will help with that, although he will not be available tonight against the Golden State Warriors.
Well, I'm not sure that matters. They could have Jordan in it against the Warriors. We'll talk about that some other time. One of the things, though, that I'm curious about, Sean, when it comes to this trade, you talked about the minutes on the court, you talked about all of that. Was there concern about the chemistry within the locker room or anything like that when it came to Nurkic? Because we know, and I don't have a better term for it, but there was a little bit of pouting about the fact that there weren't a lot of minutes there because of what was happening with Jokic. So I kind of feel like maybe this was also a move to clean some things up and make sure that they had the right kind of mesh going on in the locker room.
Well, pouting is probably a fair way to put it, to be honest. This wasn't a guy throwing temper tantrums, but he was disappointed that his numbers went down. Basically, at the beginning of the season, this was a battle between Jokic and Nurkic to see who would become the center. Jokic won. Nurkic then watches his minutes dissolve. So he was frustrated. You don't want, like I mentioned, 6 guys on this roster, 22 and younger. You don't want to see guys pouting. It ends up being a little bit contagious because a lot of guys don't get minutes. So the opportunity to shuffle him out, to let him go to a Portland team that can use his services, and then bring in someone the Nuggets can use who was Damian Lillard of the Blazers referred to him as a brother and said is one of his favorite teammates he's ever had, not just in the NBA, but over his life. So that's a guy that you feel pretty confident you can plug into the locker room and not disrupt very much.
Can we get Damian Lillard too? I mean, if he likes him, so can we? No?
One thing at a time.
Oh, that'd be fun. So again, the NBA trade deadline is not until Thursday, February 23rd, so we'll keep an eye on if there are other moves on the way involving the Denver Nuggets. We'll keep you up to date on those, and of course we'll watch what else is happening around the Western Conference, as Denver very clearly in this move is saying, we want to make sure we make the playoffs this year. This isn't just about long term, this is about making sure that we're playing very well this year, holding on to that 8 spot, and making sure that this is a team that gets some playoff experience, even if that experience is against who is their opponent tonight, and that's the Golden State Warriors. So some update on what's happening with the Nuggets. We'll have more on that at 5280sportsnetwork.com and of course milehighsports.com as well. But for now, for Sean, I'm Nate. See ya.